Ghosting on the saxophone is where part of the tongue is contacting part of the reed, but you're not stopping the sound and you're not stopping the flow of air. Essentially what it is you're choking off the high frequencies of the sound while allowing the pitch that you're playing to still come through, but it has this sort of dampened quality. We call it ghosted. That would be an open sound. That would be a ghosted sound, and if you alternate between the two, you can hear that the tone quality changes, the pitch stays the same. A lot of teachers that I've had and a lot of cats that have videos online and books and all of this, a lot of educators talk about this as doodle. Duden-tonguing, deeden-tonguing, dawdle-tonguing, half-tonguing, side-tonguing, muting, swallowing. It has a bunch of different names, but the effect is that you are putting the tongue on the reed and cutting off a little bit of the sound and a lot of the brighter tone qualities that exist in it. If you were thinking about speaking this articulation, I don't like doodle. I used to. I don't like dawdle. I used to. I don't like duden. I used to. Duden is actually probably one of the better ones. But what I think literally translates to speaking the language of saxophone articulation is just thinking the letter D and then the letter in. So D in, like you're saying the word Indian. And you can practice this on the horn, basically taking any note you want. I'm gonna start with a G in the staff and just going D. To accomplish this, you basically have to use part of the tongue to cover part of the reed without cutting off the sound. This is such a common thing in traditional and modern jazz playing that you'll see, if you look at pictures of cats like straight on, a lot of cats will play with the mouthpiece at an angle, or they'll play with the saxophone itself slightly off center. It's easy access to that ghosted sound, which is fundamental to creating rhythmic and percussive quality in your articulation style. This is a really basic, but also very important thing for developing a jazz articulation style that is like true and allows you to sort of connect to that lineage, that family tree of saxophone players that's been established all the way back from, you know, Benny Carter, Johnny Hodges to modern players of today. Most cats don't teach this. So it's difficult maybe to get started with this. I think a lot of people learn first that shapes and scales and patterns and playing melodies are very important. And those things are very important. But if you aren't saying them with the right sort of articulation, it's like you're reading French in an English accent. It doesn't come through properly. It doesn't land on the ear, and it doesn't convey the same kind of percussion and rhythm that those cats had internalized in their playing. So here's the thing. You're gonna take any note. Think about keeping the mouthpiece either off to the side or at a slight angle. I play with my mouthpiece slightly off to my left. And I'm tonguing, essentially I'm touching my left corner of the reed with the side of my tongue. Like this. My right side of my tongue is touching my left corner of the reed, just inside of the tip. We get this D in articulation. It's important to be aware of this, and it's also important to practice this technique, because when you're learning saxophone solos and you're developing a vocabulary in an authentic way, it helps you to hear that these cats are actually ghosting quite a bit, particularly cats like Parker, Stitt, Cannonball. So here we go. Start from a note that's in the middle register. I'm gonna start with G in the staff. And I'm just gonna go D in, D in, D in, like Indian. Get a handle on a single pitch, then start working it around the horn. You might find that being in a higher register, like let's say a D with the octave key, might be easier for you. Start there, make that your base, and then start to work your way up the horn chromatically and down the horn chromatically from that point. So let's say D is comfortable for you. We're going D in, D in, D in. Work your way up chromatically. Then you'd work all the way up through the entire range of the horn. And then all the way down. So I'm starting from D, I'm going to work my way down to a low B flat. D and D and D and D and D and D and. Why I don't think Duden is good, why I don't think Deeden is good, Deedle, Doddle, Doodle, is because if you write out the word, or if you write out the sound in English, in language, it's basically D-O-O-D-E-N, Duden. But there is no second D when you're ghosting on the saxophone. There is no do-den, it's do-in. It's not D-den, it's D-in. If you wanted to attack the saxophone a second time, do-den, it would sound like this. And that's not what any of these cats were doing. It's something that people made up with best intentions, but it isn't what's happening. So, the truth of the matter, D-in, or do-in, or if you insist, da-in, but there is no duden, deeden, doddle, doodle. It's D-in, doin, don. Think about it, practice it, see what happens.